All right, guys, welcome back to the course. In the last lecture, we went over some Snapchat basic terms, but you'll need to see these things for yourself. So in this lecture, let's create your account and get familiar with the app itself. If you guys have a Snapchat account, either scan through this at 2x to see if there's something different that you missed, or just skip the lecture. First off, Snapchat doesn't have a special account for businesses. Instagram, on the other hand, does. So when you create an account, it's generally going to be the same process that you'd follow for a personal account. Hence, when I say Snapchat is emerging, it hasn't yet figured out how to let marketers use their platform, so they don't even facilitate it. So the first thing you need to do is just download the app. So, if you're on Android, go to the Google Store. If you're on iPhone, go to the Apple Store. Once you do install it, go ahead and just follow these steps. First thing you do is you just start up the app and then you click sign up. Next, you'll be asked to enter your name, and at some point, you'll have to choose a username. Since this account is going to be for your business, well then put your business name in there, and if possible, choose a username handle that's the same or similar enough to the other social accounts you've created. Generally speaking, if someone's interested in what you're doing and they see your Facebook account, they'll look to see if you're on other platforms as well. So let's say you sell dog food and you're Mega Chow Food on Twitter, well then try to get Mega Chow Food on Snapchat. Again, Snapchat's emerging, so there's actually a lot of open handles. Wouldn't be surprised if you got exactly what you wanted. The next thing is that during this setup, you'll also be asked to enter a date of birth. So since you're a business, well, you don't really have one, so really you just need to make that one up. And yes, I know that's technically illegal by some obscure law somewhere. But anyway, the whole reason you put this in there is you have to be at least 13 years old to have a Snapchat account. So put in a birth date that meets that requirement. Maybe put in yours, it doesn't matter, moving on. Next up, you have to set a password. So obviously pick a good one that's not password 12345. Don't be one of those people, especially with a business account, my God. The amount of damage and extortion people can do to business accounts is really quite shocking. The next thing they'll do is they'll ask you for your phone number. The reason why they do this is because when people sign up to Snapchat, one of the ways they'll add other people is they'll add their contact list and then it matches the phone number. It's very similar if you use WhatsApp, kind of uses your phone number as your single identifying ID. Now, if you have a mobile phone for your business with a unique number, obviously go ahead and enter that one, but a lot of people don't. So just know that you don't have to necessarily put in a phone number if you don't want to, but you have to do some other things. Part of the reason why you put the phone is also for verification purposes anyway, but you can actually just use an email address instead. You're just foregoing the opportunity that someone who's in your contact list could add you. Anyway, just make sure that you enter a business email, not your personal one. Otherwise, you're gonna get stuck. Either way, phone, email, whatever, Snapchat's gonna send you that verification message, make sure you validate it. And that's pretty much it. But before you actually start using it, let me give you a few tasks to do that will help you essentially learn this in a much more accelerated way. The first thing I say is make sure to set up your Snap code. Now, most platforms allow you to set up a profile picture and put your logo up there, but not Snapchat. If you tap the Snapchat logo in the upper left, you'll see a yellow square with a ghost, and that's the Snapchat logo inside of it. Well, this is your Snap code, and you'll see little dots inside that yellow square. People can use this to directly follow you, so make sure to tap on it and download an image of it. Then what you can do is you can post this to different places like other social media accounts to let people know how to connect to you on Snapchat. One common thing to do is when you just open your Snapchat account, you take your profile photo and you change your other profile photos to that, like on Facebook or on Twitter, and that lets people know, hey, we just joined Snapchat. Obviously don't leave that there permanently, but it's a good way of getting other people to join. Now here's the second thing you should do right now. Sign yourself up for an app called ghostcodes.com. What is ghostcodes.com? Trust me, we will get into this later. Now, one of the things about Snapchat that kind of sucks is discovery, meaning it's not really that easy to find other people's profiles. Ghost Codes is essentially a directory of Snapchat users organized by topic and a much easier way to find and follow people in your industry or wherever you want to look. Remember Product Hunt, for example? Well, you can find them under the entrepreneur category. Ghost Codes also has a point system called Kudos where users upvote your profile in your category, making it easier to find you. So make sure you put yourself in the right category. Navigating around Snapchat isn't so much menu driven as it is swipe driven. One thing that drives me a little bit nuts about Snapchat is that all apps out there like to follow the same general rules for how you navigate around them. And the reason why they do this is that so it's easier for people to use it. We get used to certain things. Having a menu button in the top right or the top left, having a profile icon somewhere that could click and takes me to the home. Snapchat decided to purposely not do that. And the reason why, and I think this is kind of hilarious, is that they know their demographic. They're usually under 20. These people didn't grow up with Facebook. They want to actually make it difficult for people who are not in their demographic to learn it.
Oh, wait a minute. What did I do? Ooh, that's ugly.
Oh, I think I hit the wrong thing.
Dude.
What's this stopwatch in the bottom left?
Is that my timer?
Who would ever do 1 second? That would be just rude.
Now where are my filters?
So it's kind of like sitting down at a lunchroom. You don't want your parents to sit down with you. How do you do that? Well, I don't know. You spray water on the ground around it and make it freeze into ice so they literally can't get to it. That's the Snapchat equivalent. Yes, I personally think it's ridiculous, and if you agree with me, you can post in the Slack chat, but hey, that's what they did. Now, when you first create your account, you'll probably end up on that camera view where you'll be basically in the camera mode, but with a big white circle at the bottom. Now, guys, they change the UI for this all the time, so if it's slightly different when you're watching this, don't freak out. Now, that's your snap button. This is what you use to take photos with. Camera options are at the top right. Keep this in mind, though. You don't always have to take your photos through the Snapchat app. You can actually take it to your regular camera and then upload it through Snapchat. Now, the other sections of the app are chat, stories, discovery, and memories. Now, chat is where you can add your friends, the people you want to connect with and follow, and then send pictures or videos to them directly. Stories is where you can create a story. Remember, it's a collection of pictures and videos, which is available for your friends to check out for, I think it's 24 hours. You can also see their stories if they post any, along with some featured stories which come from, the big brands. Now, Discover is basically the sponsored section of stories with a much longer list of brands ranging from National Geographic to Esquire to Comedy Central to Wired, whatever, many, many more. We only go to these for inspiration on what to post. And otherwise, they're pretty much worthless. Now, Memories is a section where you can view any saved snaps and stories. So in reality, Snapchat actually doesn't delete all of your pictures and videos. You have to choose to save them, of course, and when you do, well, then they're gonna show up here. To get to each Snapchat section, think of the camera screen as like your home screen, and then you swipe left or right to go to a new section. It's like an invisible navigation bar. You can also just use the icons at the bottom of the screen. Although, man, Snapchat drives me crazy. Anyway, to get to Memories, you go to the camera mode, then you swipe up, or click the small circle on the bottom center of the screen. Yeah, so anyway, so that's basically the app. You can take pictures and videos, you can send them to people through chat, save some to your memories, and view other people's stories or sponsored posts. Now, this is a good place to pause because if you haven't been in the app before, it's really worth checking out, testing out some of the features, and seeing what everything does. It's designed to be counterintuitive, so it's worth spending 10 minutes just kind of messing around with it. Who uses the platform? What are all the terms you need to know? How to create an account and where everything is. Well, in this lecture, we'll discuss how to start taking snaps and how to promote yourself. You'll discover there's plenty you can do to spread the word. So snaps are the currency of the land here in Snappy Chat land. No blog post or words need to apply. Pictures and videos are the only thing that really work. So you as a brand or a business need to think of ways that you can use the visual format to communicate and make some connections. Like I've said before, this doesn't apply to everybody. Some of you, it's gonna be harder to do visuals, but I generally think it's worth trying for most people. Now, taking a snap is simple enough. You just go to the camera mode and then click the big circle. You've probably taken thousands of photos in your life, so you pretty much know how that works. If you want to send a video through the camera mode, it's a little bit different. You hold down the button and then you see like a loading screen. Now you might ask, isn't this for my business? Isn't this supposed to be professional? Like maybe I should get a professional camera crew or lighting setup or something like that before I start sending snaps. Forget that, this is Snapchat. Just hold up your camera and snap the picture because everyone else from the Kardashian people to the guy down the street, they're pretty much doing the same thing. It's all about spontaneity, and if you aren't spontaneous, then it kind of kills the vibe. Just like Snapchat users embrace the idea that the pictures are gonna be gone within either 10 seconds or 24 hours if it's a story, they also know that everyone else is working with the same tool set under the same structure. The same limitations work for everybody. Now honestly, anybody making their pictures look too good on Snapchat are gonna actually look suspicious, like they've got something to sell. So that's something you wanna avoid. So that's how you take a snap, but to make an impression with followers, well, that's just gonna depend on what you snap. And this is where you can make a difference. Here on Snapchat, you won't be writing blog posts or articles, obviously, and you won't be posting long-form ebooks or producing videos. Any of that content marketing stuff is not really gonna work. So what exactly are we supposed to create here anyway? This is the question that befuddles many marketers, and it's the reason why Snapchat is still an emerging market. And I will warn you up front, it is difficult. It's very counterintuitive, and they didn't really make their platform to make this easy on marketers. But anyway, to answer that question, what should you create? You need to look at what's being done. Now let's jump back into Snapchat and look and see what other brands are doing. Go to the camera mode and click on search up at the top. You should bring up a bunch of top stories, but also a bunch of categories on the bottom. One of these might relate to what you might do. You've got around me to see local Snapchatters. Then you also have, music, sports, fashion, bars, nightclubs, food, all kinds of stuff. Scroll the category you like, pick one that looks interesting, and then tap it. So the snaps and videos you see might be exactly the kind of thing you might do, and others just might suck. In fact, most will probably suck, but it's just a numbers game. We're catching moments in time here from many people, and they're not posed, they're not photoshopped, and they're not engineered. Now some snaps will have text and emojis, some won't. My advice for you is just browse a bunch of these Snapchatters. You'll see the kind of stuff that gets shared. What do you like and what might you want to try for yourself? This is pretty much where you go for inspiration. Now asking yourself these questions might help as well. What is my brand personality like? If you could describe it, would it be, fun, playful, casual, serious, conservative? Are you a rebel? Are you a know-it-all? Some mix of the above? And what Snapchat filters or lenses would you use to then show off that personality? Chances are, if you're trying to be professional and serious, you're not going to be using the lens that changes your face into a panda. Also ask yourself, what would my followers or customers like to see from my brand? But obviously keeping it within the scope of Snapchat. Is my target market the type of people that anxiously awaits our next product or post? Are they people that require constant care? Do they ask a lot of questions? Or are they not particularly on the ball at all? What can I show them that will excite them, intrigue them, amuse them, or inform them? Would they care about how our product is made? Would they care what our office looks like? Do they care who the people behind the products are? What can I show them here that I can't show them anywhere else? Do they really want to see selfies from our CEO? Would they care about some of the things our team does outside of work or charities we support? So remember, you can answer any of these questions with individual snaps, videos, or you can combine multiple ones into Snapchat stories. Pick some sort of topic and start snapping. Let's look at an example. There's one called Feet Socks, and it's a sock company that uses channels like Snapchat, along with Instagram and YouTube to post, all kinds of different photos and videos. But each channel is gonna be different for them. Shots from their professional photo shoots usually end up on Instagram, but more random fun stuff like special promotions or even weird skits or outtakes or behind the scenes, those generally go on Snapchat. Now, one kind of snap that comes up a lot for brands is that behind the scenes picture I was talking about. More than any other channel, Snapchat really feels like the best place to share these hidden moments just before or after events, during the production process when you're making your product, or to catch up with people involved with your brand. Show some of these moments that don't require you to write an entire blog post or produce something super fancy. Just take a snap and post it. Now, related to this, you could also offer sneak peeks of new products, upcoming events, or promotions you plan on running in the future. Let's look at another example. Taco Bell, for instance, has done this a lot. They'll create stories that are specifically about a new product that's coming out and then tease out details to its followers. Watch out, here comes the quadruple chalupa queso whatever. And yes, hey, that works for them. Taco Bell's a bit of a cultural icon amongst people who like to get high. But if you want to do something really unique and exclusive to Snapchat, you could create what's called a branded geo filter. Now, branded filters are just like the regular filters on Snapchat, except they're created by brands to promote themselves and whatever else. But a geo filter is tied to a location. You have to be in a specific area, sometimes even at a specific time for the filter to become available. For example, Starbucks created a branded geo filter to promote their happy hour frappuccinos. Snapchat users could take selfies with themselves in this exclusive filter, and by sharing it, it would help them essentially promote their happy hour event and special pricing. Now, you obviously don't have to be a giant brand to do this, but if you're someone who runs a meetup and this is related to something your business or your product, you could do this if you want to do. And speaking of pricing, business geofilters are actually pretty cheap. It's something like $5 per 20,000 square feet. So, if you have a physical store or an event where you might be appearing, it's actually a tactic worth considering. I did see one person do this once when they were giving a talk. They created a geo-filter for the space of the talk, and then during the talk told people to do it. Now, something else you might want to post is a shout out. Now, a shout out is basically letting your followers know about another Snapchatter out there that's worth following in the hopes that that account will then give you a shout out back. For example, if there's a writer on Snapchat that covers your industry and you developed an app they might like, it'd be great if their followers would follow you as well, right? So you could snap a screenshot of their most recent snap or story and then add text to it like, follow this person on Snapchat, or this person makes great stuff. Now, in fact, this is so common that a lot of Snapchatters will actually work out a trade in advance, or they call a shout out for a shout out type promotion. You just essentially ask the other Snapchatter to give you one in exchange for one of your own. You can actually do this through the direct messaging feature. Now, if the followers from both accounts are interested in this, well, then it makes sense and it could be a win-win and help you promote your stuff. Now, speaking of promotion, Snapchat shouldn't be your only channel, so don't treat it like your only child. Cross-promote some of your Snapchat stuff on other platforms. For example, create a story on Snapchat, then download that story, post it on Facebook, and then promote your presence on Snapchat. You gotta make sure you recycle this stuff. Post your snap code to your website along in the other social media links and icons. If you need your snap code, go to your profile on Snapchat and click the little share icon under the snap code. It'll let you download the image so you can put it wherever you want. Now, if you have an email list, and you might not yet at this point, or maybe it's small, you can put together a short announcement about your new account, and that's generally a nice excuse to contact people. Then you just write an email that's like, hey, some of you guys have been asking if we're on Snapchat, and maybe they've been asking you this, maybe they haven't, doesn't really matter. And then what you can say is, and then, the answer is now, yes, we do have one. And then you can put your snap code image, and then just make it easy for them to snap it, and then encourage other people on your list to download the app and follow you as well. Plus, you can add what you'll be using the account for. Posting behind the scenes pics, sharing discount codes is a great one. Say that, like, if you follow us on Snapchat, we share X amount of discount codes a day or per week or whatever. Give people a reason to care. So sharing your Snapchat info across multiple channels can drive people to your account and get you some followers. Now, it's obviously not necessarily new followers, but followers that follow you on multiple channels are just in general more engaged, more likely to buy your stuff. Now, coming up in the next couple of lectures, I'm going to share some ways to promote yourself on Snapchat and expand your audience so that it's not just limited to the people that came from your other channels or your direct contact list. All right, guys, see you then.